Welcome to White Door Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So today I am going to be doing the Libra September second half readings. And we are going to go ahead and get started with the animal oracles. You, Swan, Cobra, and Stingray. I get a sense that I already know what that one's about. Okay, Swan. Effortless creativity, sensitive mystic, elegant power. The swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there, to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. When in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, lacking vision. To bring into balance, solo time, writing. Now the cobra. Pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When in balance, a student of life, humble, wise. When out of balance, know it all, egocentric. To bring into balance, taking a class, study. And now, Stingray. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The Stingray card represents a pivotal point in our personal growth. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as the force of Dharma growing within the Stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. So, Libra, I myself am a Libra moon, so I totally understand. Basically, Libras are big on connection. Libras are big on community, on having a strong social life, but sometimes not having enough alone time does inhibit your growth. It sometimes we all need some time and space to be alone with ourselves in order to process recent events. Sometimes it's just to get back in touch with ourselves. And I feel like, especially with this, the recent planetary events, with the eclipse and full moon and all of that stuff, right now it's a time that's really calling for change on a deep level. And the feeling that I get is that in valuing your connections with others, you're not prioritizing enough, getting alone time, getting time to giving a chance to the growth to happen. Because sometimes being around other people and being around other energies, being influenced by those energies, it can hold us back a little bit. It can hold us back from coming to our own conclusions. It can hold us back from really feeling what we feel. And it doesn't even have to mean that the people around you are giving you input that is unwarranted or overstepping or anything like that. Sometimes it's really just being around other energies. Sometimes they can just feel like noise. And this is looking a lot like you need a lot of solo time right now, because there's something that's trying to happen within you that isn't happening because maybe you're struggling to say no. Maybe you're prioritizing other people um, over what you need. But let's see what's going on. Libra, love. Four of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. Four of Wands. Father of Wands. Death. Six of Swords. Two of Cups. Nope. You go over here. Four of Cups. And the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, this is pretty much what I was just talking about. I feel like the cards, the way they wanted to be formed, this feels like what's going on inside you versus what's going on outside of you or around you. And this feels like I don't know, this feels just very loud. I know the Four of Wands is about stability, foundation. Ace of Wands is about, initiating action, things like that. Father of Wands is also kind of a, more passionate, fiery character. And then we have the Two of Cups here, which to me in this reading just signifies a relationship or relationships, like friendships or a romantic relationship, what have you, other people, basically. And this feels like another person too. But it feels like in opposition almost to your outer life right now. What you're holding close to your chest is the transformation that's trying to happen within you. Because we have death, we have the Six of Swords, which is about recovery, the rainbow after the storm. And then we have the Four of Cups, which to me is the card of letting opportunity pass. And also that there's something that you've lost your taste for. Six of Pentacles is about your harvest coming in from the work that you have put in. This feels like on the inside you're going through some level of transformation. You're going through an internal growth spurt, but you're not fully tapping into it. You're not fully paying attention to it because there's so much going on outside of you. Like this just feels like, your day-to-day maintaining the home, keeping your job kind of thing. This to me, I don't know why, but this feels like somebody being like, "Hey, do you want to go to a concert? Do you want to go to this thing? Do you want to go to that thing?" It's just something happening all the time. Father of Wands feels like very like a how do I say this? Like a very persistent character, very active. Um I hate to say it, but almost maybe even needy. And it's like you're prioritizing keeping your connections and you have a hard time saying, "No, I really just want to be by myself today." Or, "Yeah, I'm going to take a break from the chores today and just let the dishes sit in the sink because I just want to sit in silence." Or telling this person, "No, I want to hang solo today." This feels like a lot of things pulling at your energy, a lot of different things pulling at your energy, when what you need is to sit with yourself. But the other thing is that I feel like you're letting this happen also because Libras tend to like to keep things nice, harmonious, pleasant. And this is heavy. I mean, we have the death card here. Not only that, Libras tend to prioritize what's best for everyone. Libra is the type that would just smile and nod, "Yeah, I'm okay with vanilla ice cream," even though they would have rather had something a little more adventurous. Like it feels like untapped potential. That's what they're saying. Self sabotage and untapped potential. You can be more than someone that everyone is okay with. You can be more than someone that gets along with everyone because you don't have a personality. You can be more than someone that everyone likes because you never stick to your guns. You never have a strong opinion. You never vocalize discomfort. You can be more than that. I've talked about this before, but telling someone that they hurt you puts you in a vulnerable spot. Telling someone that they are, let's just say that you're not happy with them, puts you in a vulnerable spot because then it puts the ball in their court as to how they will prefer to respond. And how they respond can be either repairing or detrimental to the relationship. It's scary because it puts it in their hands. It's easier to just hold your tongue, let it happen, and put up with their shit without saying anything, because then no feathers are ruffled. The status quo continues. The connection remains unscathed, but only because you internalized everything. And at that point, is that something that you want long term in friendships or romantic relationships? Eight of Wands, forward movement, inspiration. That one really wanted to come out. And so did my lizard, evidently. "Hi, little morning gecko. Where'd you come from?" Sorry about that. I am in a reptile room after all, so the reading got disrupted by a micro gecko. Nice. Okay, so we have the Hierophant, Eight of Wands came out first, and the Daughter of Pentacles. What this tells me, Libra, is that you're starting to learn to hold your ground. You're starting to learn to take up more space. And I say starting to learn because we have the Daughter of Pentacles representing earth energy. As a Taurus, we tend to be immovable mountains. But it feels like by learning, you're not practicing it just yet, but you're starting to feel that discomfort. You're starting to feel a little more assertive on the inside. You're just not putting it out there yet. Because the Eight of Wands feels more like an internal revelation. It's not on the outside just yet. And this is going to rock your relationship some. But not everyone passes the audition. And that's okay. You're not a snob. You're not being mean. You're exclusive. As everyone should be. You're learning boundaries. Or more, you're starting to feel the consequences of not any. I'm interested to see how this progresses eventually, but right now it looks like that's where you're at. You're on the edge of coming out a different person. As much as I like to think that universal love, unconditional love is possible, and it is, I still believe that it is. It's a little different from universal like. We're not meant to like everybody, and we're not meant to be liked by everybody. But that doesn't have to come with hate. It's just incompatibility. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to bury yourself just to be liked, just to be accepted, just to belong. Because when you do that, you rob yourself of the opportunity of finding places where you really do belong without having to do all that. And when you embody yourself, whatever falls away, let it fall away. It wasn't meant to stay. And it'll only create more room for what is meant to stay. All right, Libra, work. That's an odd one. double down on it. All right. So far we have the Two of Swords, the Emperor, the Lovers, the Fool, the Four of Swords, the Ten of Wands, Hierophant, Four of Wands, Six of Wands, Son of Cups. This is calling for me to place it in a way that is totally opposite to what I would expect. Okay, Son of Cups, the Lovers, the Fool. And Ten of Wands, Four of Swords, Six of Wands, Two of Swords, the Emperor with the Hierophant, and the Four of Wands. Okay? You would think that the opposite layout of this would make more sense, but okay, so all right, let me get into it. So for the Son of Cups, the Lovers, and the Fool, it feels to me like you were doing something for a living that was more heart based, something that did make you happy and it fulfilled you, but you feel the need to there's also some sort of heavy burden in the workplace, heavy feelings in the workplace, but it's like in the background. Four of Swords, contemplation, Six of Wands. For me, this card gives a small hope. Okay, let me put out like an example scenario here because I don't know how else to articulate this. Let's say that you work at a vet clinic, and you really love animals. You love working with the animals. And you actually enjoy being at work every day. It's what you want to do. Doesn't pay as much as you wish it did, but it's steady work, gets the bills paid. And more than anything, you value the fact that it fulfills you. It fills your cup. But let's say let's say your sister got in a car accident. Something happened. And now all of a sudden that pay being not quite where you want it to be is hitting a lot heavier. Or let's say you have a workplace crush on somebody and it's unrequited or you can't go for it because that's inappropriate. Or let's say you have a coworker that likes to microwave fish every day. I don't know, something like that. There's just yes, I love my job, but and then we have the Two of Swords, and it feels like for the longest time you put the blindfolds on. But this doesn't feel like you're ignoring, like toxicity at work or anything like that. It's like you put the blindfolds on because you don't want to do what you know you need to do. And I say that because with the Emperor and the Hierophant and the Four of Wands here, this is saying that what you need to do is prioritize financial stability. And when I pulled these, I heard need more structure. Like you're coming from a laid back workplace that you actually enjoy being at, but there is a need for more structure. There's a need for more stability. Maybe it's like odd hours or something like that. Or maybe really you did suddenly come into a, an increased need for more money, but you're dragging your heels because you're heading towards a path that is more out of survival and necessity rather than fulfillment. Is there anything like uplifting that I can give them? Daughter of Cups. You really did want to come out. Five of Swords. Where do you belong? And why are you saying martyr? Nine of Cups. Oh, I see. Justice. Okay. I see. A split up, huh? A split up. You can't afford to stay here anymore because there's something else in your life that you need to get away from. Nine of Cups, fulfillment by yourself and independence. Daughter of Cups, she said, a different kind of fulfillment. I get it now. You have to leave a job you love for a job that you need to get a different kind of fulfillment somewhere else because there's something that you need to leave, someone that you need to leave. You're making the strong choice. Yeah, I don't have any wisdom or words for you. That sucks. You have to leave something that you love. But you know what? When the Daughter of Cups said a different kind of fulfillment and the Nine of Cups appeared, justice appeared, it looks like while this transition up here sucks, from the Son of Cups, the Lovers, the Fool, to the Emperor and the Hierophant telling me structure, while that part of it sucks, I am getting a feeling that you're choosing yourself for once. This is a result of you standing your ground somewhere else. This is a decision that you're making because while you were happy at work, there was somewhere else where you weren't, and you're choosing to be happy there instead. And something tells me that it's solo. Maybe this is an extension of your love reading. All I can say is that I'm proud of you. It isn't easy, especially with martyr coming out as a keyword. It isn't easy to break the cycle of breaking yourself for the sake of keeping someone else. It isn't easy to leave behind someone that you desperately want in your life for the sake of your own sanity. And if you have to get a job that pays more but doesn't make you as happy in order to do that, well, at least you're still reclaiming yourself. And that is an honorable decision. Shadow work is going to be interesting, isn't it? Mother of Pentacles has really been popping up in the readings lately. Two of Pentacles is also here. Six of Swords. The Fool. The World. Strength. Death. Four of Swords. Okay. The Hermit. Father of Cups. And Judgment. You. Right there. You. Or here. You are attached to how this, this, and this kind of hovers, feels like it's around here. There we go. I know this looks like a clusterfish, but energetically it makes sense to me. All right. Mother of Pentacles, Father of Cups. Two of Pentacles. This feels like you're juggling. You're juggling between different versions of yourself. And it's so clear to you that one of those versions needs to go. Like you're juggling it because you know that when you choose this side, you are going to maintain your life the way it is, but you know that your life is uncomfortable as it is. You know things need to change, and you know that you've already changed. You've changed. But and you feel it in the way that internally you're reacting differently to how you normally would. And that's because you took the blinders off, or the blinders flew off because of all this stuff that's happening in the sky right now. But either way, you already know that you have changed on the inside. But bringing it to the outside, expressing this change, showing up differently is scary because it will disrupt your life. Death and rebirth. Six of Swords. Four of Swords, the Hermit, Judgment. And then on the other hand, we have the Fool. It feels like because of the way that you have changed, there are things in your life that are going to be fast moving, fast changing, dramatic, with the world being here, about ending cycles and new beginnings. Strength, a bolder you. And then there are other things, maybe your internal process, that's going to take a little longer. And perhaps there's still someone that you want to hold on to, and you don't know if they're going to accept you as you've changed. But let me tell you something that I told a friend today. No matter how you change, no matter how you grow, no matter what you end up deciding to do, I will always love you. Because true, unconditional love would never ask you to inhibit your own growth. If you're truly going in a direction that is good for you and that makes you happy, and not just based on what my opinion of happiness is, not just based on what my idea of right or wrong is, but if you change in a way that I can see that you are thriving, whether or not it makes sense to me, I will continue to love you. Those are the words of what you should be able to expect from the people in your life who say they love you. Because a lot of the time, when people say, I love you, they mean I love you, but I love you if. I love you as long as. That's not love. Love wants to see you grow. Love wants to see you thrive. No matter what it means for them, they love you because you are. Huh. This was an interesting reading, Libra. This truly was an interesting reading, especially considering the fact that my lights kept flickering on and off. So there might be some cuts there where I'm irritatedly looking up at my interrogation lights. And it also got disrupted by a small lizard or gecko at one point, but, and also a ladybug. There was a ladybug crawling around on here for a minute there, but I hope that something that I said here today was helpful and sticks with you for a very long time, because that's what I'm here to do. I am here to try to aid in growth and trying to help provide some sort of guidance through these confusing times of change. All right, if you liked what you saw here today, please do like, share, subscribe, comment to help me out with the algorithm, and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. I'm kind of thinking about just doing general readings as they come to me, which is pretty much every other day, if not every day, um, instead of the zodiac readings. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I should keep up with the zodiac readings? All right. Well, I'll see you in the next one.